What's happening, guys? I wanted to do a training here on something that I don't think a lot of one, business owners think about, and two, setters and closers are in tune with or educated on. And if business owners, the marketing team, the setting team, and the closing team were a little bit more educated on this and aware, ironically, of the 5 stages of awareness and where prospects are at, and could communicate effectively and have a good feedback loop between each other, I think client acquisition becomes a lot easier. So the first step of this is really just actually understanding what the 5 stages of awareness are. And this is a marketing thing. I'm not a marketer, but I know enough to kind of know when lead quality or the quality of a sales team and the sales process is the problem. And I kind of just want to chat about that in this video, hopefully educate some people here and help people raise their own level of awareness of where the prospects are when you are talking to people on sales calls and marketing guys or business owners when you are criticizing and concerned about sales team performance, being able to actually audit whether or not this is a marketing issue or a sales issue. So there's 5 stages of awareness, and every prospect has to go through all of these stages of awareness before they end up buying. And if they don't go through all of these stages of awareness, they're not going to buy. Okay. So the first step of this first stage of awareness is the unaware stage. This stage is when a prospect does not even know that a problem exists. They are unaware that they have a problem at all. Okay. This could be, what's a good example of this? A prospect being unaware. How about this? This is a good example. When someone is an alcoholic or a drug addict and they haven't come to the level of conscious awareness to admit that they have a problem, they're in the unaware stage. Okay. When someone is living paycheck to paycheck, okay, but they're kind of fine and they're happy and they don't think about making more money or they don't worry about making more money, they're in the unaware stage. When someone weighs 385 pounds and thinks that's perfectly normal, and they don't understand that they're probably going to have a heart attack or die earlier in life because they're unhealthy. That is a prospect who is unaware. Okay. Now we could get a little bit more sophisticated into different levels of problems that people have. Or more sophisticated types of problems. But if you have unaware prospects getting into your CRM, marketing is not doing their job. Okay. And we're going to talk about that a little bit deeper in this video as well. But that's the first stage, unaware. They don't even know that a problem exists, let alone a solution, let alone your company, let alone any sort of product that you have to offer them. Okay. The second stage of this is problem aware. They've actually admitted and they've realized and they understand and they consciously can see that they have a problem with something. I don't know if that's a lack of income. I don't know if that's a lack of preparation for retirement. I don't know if that is them realizing that they are unhealthy. But they are actually aware that a problem exists and they are searching for something to fix this problem, but they at least realize that it's a problem. Or they might be searching for something to fix this problem, but they don't know about anything that could actually fix it for them. Okay, which brings me to the next step, solution awareness. Okay, this is when someone is actually understanding and realizes and can see and understands that there is viable solutions in the marketplace to solve this problem that they are now aware of. The step beyond that is, okay, well, they can know that the solution is out there or aware of a solution. Think about weight loss. There could be supplements and pills. It could be a diet plan. It could be a gym membership. It could be a personal trainer. It could be a functional health coach. They're aware of all of those solutions. Brand aware is when they actually know that you are a person or a company or a brand that has the solution that they're potentially looking for. And then beyond that, the last step, the last stage of awareness is the actual product that you can sell them that solves this problem. Okay? Those are the 5 stages of awareness in the buying process. Okay? And someone needs to go through all of these awareness levels, right? They need to go from, I don't even know that I have a problem, to, oh, now I understand that I do have a problem. Okay, well, the problem that I realize I have, there is something out there that could help me solve it. Oh, this guy has one of those things that can help me solve that. And oh, this guy or gal specifically has this product that is going to help create this solution from the problem that I am now aware of. Okay, if they do not go through those 5 levels, those 5 stages of awareness, they will not buy. Okay? Someone is not going to find out about your product if they don't know about your company. They're not going to find out about your company if they're not aware of a solution that your company could solve. They're not going to even be searching for a solution if they don't realize and admit that they have a problem. And they're damn sure not going to know that they have a problem if they're just freaking lackadaisically going through life, not realizing that they have a problem that's right in front of their face. Okay? So if prospects are not getting through these 5 stages of awareness throughout your acquisition process, they're never going to buy. Now, typically an acquisition process, at least in the high ticket space, is going to have these 3 teams involved. There's going to be a marketing team, there's going to be a setting team, there's going to be a closing team. Sometimes the marketing team and the setting team are the same, right? If you don't have any actual people calling phone numbers that opt in or DMing people on your behalf, and they're just coming through a marketing funnel like a VSL or a webinar, sometimes these 2 can be just one single team. But I want to talk about these 3 parties involved in the acquisition system and what they should be accountable for in terms of handling these stages of awareness. So let's start from the bottom up. What should closers be accountable for? Okay. And if you think about a high ticket sales process, right? The sexiest thing in the world is when closers have opportunities to one-call close. Not every prospect is one-call closable. There are sometimes logistical issues. There are sometimes trust issues. There are sometimes fear issues, whatever it might be. The deeper someone is on this awareness stage when they show up to a closing call, assuming that logistically they have the time and money to invest into your solution and your product, then the higher likelihood they're going to close. Okay? So I believe personally that by the time a prospect gets to a closer, they need to at least be solution aware. They need to be somewhere in these 3 stages. That's a terrible triangle. Holy shit. They need to be somewhere in these bottom 3 stages if they're going to buy by the time they get to a closer. In my personal opinion, that's what I think. I think if you are sending prospects to closers before they are even aware that a solution exists in the marketplace, there's no chance you're setting your closers up for success. And as a business owner and as a marketer, your only goal should be to set your sales team up for success as easy as possible. Do we want them to turn into lazy princess salespeople that can't handle objections and can't have tough conversations and can't get someone from a solution aware to a purchase? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying your job as a marketing team and a business owner should be to put them in the best possible position to close as easy as possible. And on the flip side, the closing team and the setting team should be developing their skill set and putting maximum effort in to make the marketing team and the business owners' lives easiest as possible, right? So it needs to be a two-way street. But from what I've seen, I think if we're having prospects get on with closers and they're above this solution awareness stage, your close rate's really going to suck and it's not going to be optimal. Now, if you get someone on the call with a closer and they're brand aware, meaning they know who the influencer, they know who the business owner is, they're familiar with the company, and they're familiar with what the company does and how they're different in the marketplace, that's a very optimal place for them to be. And then product aware, man, if your prospects are showing up to calls with closers, knowing that you have a specific product and they are familiar with the product that you have to offer, your close rate should be 30, 35, 40% plus. Now, a good closer can take them from solution aware down to a purchase. But it should be the business owner's motive and the marketing team's motive to get people as close to product aware as possible before they get to closers. As long as they can do it in an economical and effective way. If we have to spend $1 million to get a lead to the product aware stage from a marketing perspective, then no, we need to train our closers on how to get them from solution aware, brand aware, down to a purchase. But I think just the point of this video is to know from these three parties that exist in the sales process, who should be responsible for what and what should their capabilities be. Okay. Now, if we look at setters moving up in the sales process, up the funnel, if you will, I think setters, good setters, are going to be able to take a prospect from product aware, ideally down to brand aware. Okay. If setters can get them to brand aware or product aware, wonderful. That's fantastic. Sexiest thing ever. If a setter is good enough to do that without scaring the prospect away or getting too deep into finances and having a dog shit show rate, whatever it might be. Okay, but you should, as a business owner and a marketing team, expect your setters to be able to bring someone from problem aware to solution aware at least before they hand them over to a closer, and ideally down to brand aware, right? Get them understanding who the company is, what our values are, how we differentiate ourselves, what problems we solve, how we solve those problems differently, et cetera, et cetera. Okay? And setters, you should want to get people, your prospects, at least to brand aware. If your prospects and your sets that you're making with closers show up to the call and they're like, yeah, I have no idea who the business owner, or I have no idea what you guys do. I have no idea who you are. I just met you. Basically, Johnny Boy just told me to have a conversation with you and you'll take care of all of it. If your prospects are showing up like that to calls, you suck. You're not doing your job. Period. Okay? So you should be able to take someone from problem aware, meaning in the weight loss example, they understand that they're unhealthy. You should be able to have them admitting that to you on your calls. And you should be able to bring them to the point where they understand that someone can help them with this. They've admitted they need help with this. And they understand enough about the company and the influencer that you sell for that they are going to show up ready to have a good conversation with the closer to understand what the product is that we offer. You don't need to go deep in the weeds of the product. You should not be talking about the pillars or the deliverables of the program on your call. If you can get to that level without scaring the prospect off, more power to you. I don't think that should be the expectation. Okay? Then, from a marketing perspective, I think a marketing team is in charge of getting someone from the awareness stage or the unaware stage down to the solution aware stage. If a good marketing team is going to get prospects from, I don't know that I even have a problem, to getting them to pay attention to an ad or a piece of content or whatever it might be, open their mind and help them shift their perspective to understand the problems that they do have, and then get them to take action in the form of an opt-in or a low-ticket purchase or potentially a book call to get them to the solution awareness stage. Ideally, through that marketing, again, they're getting them down to brand aware. If a marketing team is getting every lead to brand aware, that is a fucking world-class marketing team. If they are at least getting someone to problem aware, to where they're taking action after they realize, the prospect realizes that they have a problem, that's fantastic too. I can't ask for much more beyond that. If we're having people opt in that are unaware, they don't understand what we do, they don't understand what problems they have, the marketing team is not good. If we're calling leads and we're like, oh yeah, I didn't even really understand it. I just, it looked cool, so I signed up for it. If those are the fucking conversations that are being had with the setting team, or at worst, the closing team in their sales engagements, that means the marketing team is not getting these prospects deep enough into these 5 stages of awareness. So again, ideally, they're getting someone to solution aware. At worst, they're getting prospects that opt in and show intention and engagement at the problem awareness stage. And at best, they're getting people on to the calendar or getting people to opt in that are like, I know you guys, I know what you do, I know the influencer, I know about your company, and I'm ready to have a good conversation with a salesperson. That is like best case scenario. So salespeople, if you have a marketing team where everybody you talk to is like, oh yeah, I know you guys are awesome, fucking stay in that role, because you need to get better at taking people from the brand awareness stage to actually buying. That's a sales problem. If you're talking to people on calls that are like, I have no idea what you guys do, I have no problems that I think you could solve, I don't even remember opting in, if that is common on your sales calls and the marketing team is not taking that feedback, run for the hills, because that's a bad marketing team. So this is kind of how I see it. I've seen really great marketing teams. I've seen really shitty marketing teams. I've seen great setting teams. I've seen shitty setting teams. I've seen great closing teams. I've seen shitty closing teams. From what I've seen is, if these parties can operate within these areas that I just showed, you're usually going to have a fairly dialed in acquisition system. And this is the name of the game. The more people we could take from the unaware stage down to the product aware stage through these 3 parties, the more clients we're going to acquire. So I know I didn't get super deep. I'm not a professional marketer by any means. I know this enough to be dangerous and collaborate with marketing teams and closing teams. I know that if my setters that I manage or closers that we manage, I know that if setters are, setting people on the calendar that are like, oh, I have no idea that you guys even help with that, and closers are hearing that, I know the setters are fucking up. I know if closers are getting people on and prospects are saying stuff like, oh, I've been following you guys for years, and then those calls are not closing, I know the closers are fucking up. Then I know that if I listen to a bunch of calls and setters are getting texts back from prospects or emails back from prospects, or the first 1 to 2 minutes of the call, or like, I have no idea who you guys are or what you guys do. I know that marketing is fucking up. So the goal of this should actually be able to identify the real truth of what's happening in the acquisition process and where prospects are coming in, and engaging with these 3 parties that you should have at your company. And if we can at least just have that truth, then we know what we need to do, or we can at least identify the problem that needs to be solved. We might not always have a solution that's the answer, but we can at least identify the problem that needs to be solved. One thing that I do want to add in, if you don't have setters in a process, right, your marketing team needs to get people down to at least this solution awareness stage, right? If your marketing team is putting unaware or problem aware people on your closer's calendar, that's a marketing problem. And you might need setters, or you might need to add filters into your funnel, or tweak your messaging, or change your content, or something along those lines to make sure they're getting deeper in this awareness stage. But a lot of times people bring setters in because it's really, it can get fairly expensive marketing wise to get only solution aware prospects on calls with closers. And again, ideally brand aware prospects on calls with closers. So hope this helps. If you guys have any questions, shoot me a DM on Facebook. My name is Nick Aaliyah on there. And have a good one. Happy selling.